Hi, I'm Marc Guldimann, one of the founders and the CEO at Adelaide Metrics. Adelaide is the first platform that helps advertisers understand the quality of the media they're buying using attention metrics. I'm here at the GroupM Rooftop in Cannes with Ron and Sargi. Ron, would you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, Ron Amram, and I'm the Global Head of Media of Mars.
Hi, I'm Sargi Mann. I'm the Global Head of Activation and Performance for GroupM Nexus.
Thanks. So at Adelaide, we've done a lot of work with GroupM around attention metrics. We started off very early in our journey doing measurement, trying to understand what was the quality of media that was being bought, and how could we do some manual optimization. It was very measurement heavy, a lot of manual work, and you guys really leaned in at GroupM doing all that manual work with us. It was in the early days. There was a lot of twisting knobs and switching things around. But over time, that's matured, and we've done a lot of work with Programmatic that we're going to talk about today. I'm curious if Sargi, could we talk a little bit, Sargi, about how attention metrics fit into GroupM's performance-centric strategy?
Sure. I think when we think about making advertising work better for everyone, right? There is inherently a responsibility to evolve with the times. What we are doing is, yes, it's innovative and required, I would say, in some cases. When we think about performance, it's no longer just about the bottom DR action. It's about extracting maximum value from every single marketing and media dollar that we are investing on behalf of our clients. And that has a responsibility that it's about the quality of that buy as well. Whether we talk about attention metrics, whether we talk about responsible investments, overarchingly about DEI, journalism, all of that is to evolve with the time. The currency needs to adapt with the time we are in. Yeah. It's no longer just about vanity metrics. It's about results-driven transactions that we have to drive for our clients. So for us, it's very much in line with our philosophy that we need to continue to push on behalf of our clients, and in a lot of cases for the industry as well, to evolve the currency that we are optimizing our campaigns on.
That's such good context, because I think media metrics have not kept up with the evolution of media. Mm-hmm. It used to be that all impressions were pretty similar, right? Everything on TV and print and radio was pretty homogenous. But with the advent of digital and all apps and websites and all of these new channels that people consume media on, we obviously need new metrics. And so, Ron, I'd love to hear a little bit from you about why are attention metrics important to Mars, and can you share any results, anything that you've seen so far?
Yeah, so for us as a CPG marketer, that we sell to retailers or our customers, and they sell to consumers. So access to that really transactional sales data is a level removed from us, and so we don't have the advantage of being a direct-to-consumer, for most of our brands anyway, of that direct feedback loop. So most of the measurement that we've done historically from a media perspective is removed and correlated to business success. Like reach is one that's kind of media has been built on for decades. But to your point, in the digital world, there's less consistency of television across a band was very predictive over time, 2 to 4 to 6%. Times ROI, right? So the effectiveness of media was much more predictable. As placement and formats have evolved, and digital has kind of mushroomed to have so many different versions of content and creative, and impressions have gone from being 15 seconds to a fraction of a second. We needed new measures and new performance, or quality measures, to really understand what so cost of impression have now varied, quite widely, but the quality was we never had a scale. We still, I would say, don't have a scale. The companies that have a direct feedback loop on sales have a better understanding on how their media is performing for them, but we were flying blind. So, and to be fair, most in the digital world, so much of the data and so much of the signals is controlled by the seller or the platforms. Mm-hmm. And that is also dangerous, right? So we have been struggling to find business metrics that are correlated to success that really understand media quality. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of zeroed in on attention because that's really what we're fighting for, right? And, whether the measure is, is true attention or just, an effective proxy for it almost doesn't matter. But what we're trying to get to is it correlated to business success, and is it related to the quality of that impression? And that's what we've been struggling for, I think, for some time. So over the past, I would say, year and a half, we've been basically, testing any attention capability that's out there, and run multiple campaigns with you over the past year, led mostly by Mars Wrigley in the U.S. and in other markets. In the U.K., we've had a series of campaigns, and for the most part, that's exactly what we're finding, is that attention measurement is correlated to business success. It does vary a bit, right? We have a scale of like a slight increase in ROI or effectiveness to a dramatic increase, and we're trying to understand, and we've been able to pull out some of the key insights that drive that. And now now that we've tested it, and you have to test it on lots of different campaigns and to really build a muscle around it, how do we infuse that into our buying capability? How do we connect it to our DSPs and SSPs so that we're buying it, an open web and impacting the buys that we're making? And to be honest, we're trying to also infuse it into our planning as well. Yep. So that's, I think, the stage that we're at right now, where how do we make this a quality? So you have CPM, you have pricing. How do you have and we have hygiene, right? And this is where brand safety and non-human traffic and viewability have been hygiene measures. But how do you replace the hygiene or put something above it that is about the quality of each impression, so that you're improving the effectiveness of your campaign, irrespective of price? So price and value, you get to price quality to a value metric, right? And that's, I think, what we are pushing into, what we want to have next as a field in our DSPs or in our buys with SSPs.
Yeah, I think it's such a great point. It's so important to move from cost focus to understanding quality, and then you can compute value. And the ability to put that into a programmatic system makes it so much easier, right? All the early work that we were doing, Sargi, it was great, and it was driving great outcomes, and we were seeing some of those great results you talked about, Ron, but it was a lot of work. And so I'm really, really excited about what we've been doing recently, putting the data via Nexus. They've been building some really, really interesting custom algorithms, putting it into the SSPs, putting it into DSPs in terms of pre-bid. So we, at Adelaide, we're trying to make this data available in whatever way advertisers want. Ron hinted at the planning stuff, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Yeah. But so I think there's like 2 or 3 ways you can do attention metrics programmatically. You can do it on the SSP with curated marketplaces and PMPs. You can do it on the DSP with effectively the same methodology of doing a pre-bid segment. But those are both sort of static hurdles, right? It's almost like viewability, where if it's viewable, it's worth this much. If it's not viewable, it's not worth anything. If you have these static lines, you're not really getting all of the value of attention metrics. And this is why the work that Nexus has been doing is so exciting, because if you're using attention metrics in a custom algorithm, you can actually titrate bids up and down based on what is the probability of attention in this placement for this user.
That's a good word, titrate.
Yeah, I think I heard my doctor say it once. We're going to titrate this. Actually, it was when I got a tooth pulled. It's we're going to titrate this, and I'm like, I can still feel it. Give me more gas.
It's not as hard as pulling teeth.
Yes. Sometimes getting people to accept attention metrics can be like pulling teeth.
That's your problem. Actually, it is my problem.
Well, I mean, you've been making it easy for us. You've been turning that gas on, getting everybody to be
look. If it work, but you have to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing, is that we've been struggling with it, but now I think we've been able to prove it.
Yes, yeah, making it work and then making it easy, right? Because if it works and it's really hard to do, then it's harder to get people to adopt it.
So keep titrating.
You need more of that titrate that gas in there.
I want to build on something that Ron said, Marc, here, is in addition to all the technical laydown, all the making it automated, making it seamless for the buyers, I think what's important is the value is also to the clients when you're looking at inherently a fragmented marketplace, you're looking at multiple platforms, you're looking at a generation upcoming as the future buyers who have grown with the diversity of fragmentation. To capture their attention, to get them to act, you have to stand apart. And on the other side, when you look at the market pressures of so much money flowing in from big players, sprawling out all the placements, so how do you make your marketing dollars work hard and also connect with the consumers to drive those business results? This is a key value metric, right? For us, that's why it was important to operationalize it in those automated bidding algorithms, because it cannot be a static signal. We can't read on it, yep, great, we bought on it, well, what did it do? If we can't flex the marketplace, right? If we can't optimize on it, then is it really valuable? So beyond being a filter, it has to be an optimization mechanism for us.
Yep.
But I think it has to. I think we've done the great thing is the sequence, right? Prove it, like that it's correlated to success. Now scale it and embed it and make it easier. But to be honest, I think the next hurdle for us is there are the walled gardens, in the sense of the social platforms don't allow this. They're afraid of this almost. And I do think that if we make attention, a standardized way of working and build that into our way of working, they have to adjust. So to be honest, I think there's still more hurdles to come, but I think we'll work on those.
Yeah.
I think that the nice thing is that when you have the weight that GroupM and Mars have, you can really start to shift the market, right? And what we've seen is, thanks to our work together, we're seeing more and more adoption on the sell side. I want to talk about this a little. I mean, we can talk about it now. Yeah. The latest advancement in attention metrics has been media sellers adopting them and starting to use attention metrics to differentiate their product across,
especially the ones that realize that, we're actually good at this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So it's about I think what it's allowing the seller to go back to is quality. Right. So I think that over time, programmatic has punished the quality, the real quality publisher. But this allows us to dial quality back up.
100% totally, because I think the market was trying to homogenize everything.
Yeah.
And everything, somebody once told me, you need to make a new spreadsheet. You need to make a new column in the spreadsheet so that people, that actually represents quality, so that people can compute value.
Yeah. It was deleted.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah. Oh, and it never represented like the variety of media placements.
No, because in TV it was inherent in the CPM in a sense.
Yep.
But in digital it got homogenized, is the right word. Yeah.
Yeah, there was data and price in TV. Right. Like when you bought expensive stuff, chances are it was high quality. Right. In digital,
ratings were a unifying principle around it, and it doesn't really exist in the digital world.
Yeah.
And I think also, now with the advent of online video and connected TV coming in, it's again the same thing.
Yeah.
The fragmentation, which player, which spot, do I go into pre-roll, do I go into post-roll? How do I do that cohesive video planning and buying? I think that's where the other hurdle will be, is to really bring it into the video world now that it's being powered by digital signals and data, because it's for marketers, video is an established mechanism of storytelling. That power is not going away. It immediately draws the audiences in. But not every video placement is now created equal. And we are looking at a world which is far beyond than a day part schedule. We are looking at social platforms, OTTs, SVOD, video platforms, all wazoo, ad supported, non-ad supported. So for marketers, it's our responsibility to navigate that and simplify that viewpoint. Yeah. And attention can be one of that filter and optimization layer to say, how do we translate that rating world into a digitally powered video world? So I think I'm excited. I like hurdles. I'm like, there's more to do.
So as you're doing that, and as you're jumping those hurdles, you end up with more responsible media investment. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about what you found at GroupM in terms of like what's happening with responsible media investment through the use of attention metrics?
So I think there's, when we look at our responsible investment framework, there is multiple layers into that, right? Ron alluded to brand safety, suitability, viewability, ad fraud, all of that, that's hygiene factor. That's never gonna go away. We've invested a lot on that and we continue to do that. I think another part is, of course, attention as a key layer of how do we modernize the currency that we are filtering and optimization our campaigns on. In addition to that is our work on media sustainability, media decarbonization, sustainability efforts. Even there we are seeing that when we are responsible to bring that into the buys, performance goes up as well. So creating that climate awareness and that literacy is resulting in better performances. Then there's news and journalism, and the flip is when we put a lot of filters, sometimes good quality content suffers. So how do we calibrate that balance? So for us, it's cohesively, how do we make all of those components as a mainstream of how we continue to invest responsibly on behalf of our clients, but get the industry to evolve. I mean, there's not to, we could have a whole another session on cookie deprecation and all that stuff that's happening. These are all mechanisms and layers when our customers are like, I expect more from you. I expect more from the brands. The world is changing. Our audiences are changing. Their values, the benefits that they want are changing. So media has to evolve in that. So our responsible investment work is actually leading on that to say, how do we create frameworks, but then also operationalize them on behalf of our clients on the day-to-day.
Yep. I think there's another stakeholder here, which is the consumer, right? The person who's visiting the website. And one of the, I think the most impactful long-term effects of attention metrics is creating a positive feedback loop, right? So it allows advertisers to not like to have an excuse, but to justify buying higher quality. And as they shift demand from across the entire spectrum of placements, and they start to focus their demand on higher quality, it creates incentives for publishers to create higher quality placements, which are inherently just better for consumers, right? It's less ads, better experiences. So in the end, what we'll have is it's the adoption of attention metrics is really helping every stakeholder, from advertisers, publishers, and consumers. You create this wonderful virtuous cycle. So you hinted in that last answer about how responsible investment has driven better outcomes. Can you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, even with our work on Mars for attention, we are seeing better ROI, we are seeing better quality metrics from a performance standpoint, we are seeing better conversions for some of the brands. For our work with the media decarbonization, even there we are seeing better quality performance, better outcomes. So I think there's a lot of case studies that we can unpack there, but on average, we are seeing anywhere from 6 to 20% uplift in campaign performance when we are applying these metrics, right? Of course, a lot of the brand context, the market context comes into place, but there is a positive lift there. And I think that's a good, strong signal enough. One thing I think we all have to think about is it's not enough to just test and learn. We have to test and evolve. So even a 1% gain is a positive gain, and we are all about creating that incremental gain on a day-to-day basis. So we are very energized with all of those the outcomes that we are creating for our clients. And campaigns are performing better, the CPMs are going down by massive percentages. And the fact that we are finding high quality premium placements at an effective pricing, that's a win for clients,
Yeah. So we've proven that it works. We've done programmatic, we've operationalized it. What's next, Ron? Where are we going to go next with attention metrics?
Well, I think for us, it's about embedding it in our buying systems and scaling it, hopefully across more digital, a broader portion of our digital, our field about so the social media, including it across more of our video, so OTC and things, OTT, things like that. Connected TV, but to be fair, I think the real possibility is infusing that data into our planning as well, right? So, To be honest, I think there's an opportunity to just use this as a stronger filter on the media that we're buying, and it's so really incorporating the data that we're collecting now as a signal for effectiveness.
Yep. And we've seen when people put AU into their MMM models that they become more predictive. And they're starting to build it into their planning tools. And then what I'm excited about is eventually publishers starting to adopt the metric and the market starting to form around it, right? So there's plenty of arbitrage today, right? You said there's lots of underpriced assets. You can go out there and buy them on behalf of your clients. But in the long run, I hope that we start to see this shared understanding of quality drive more trust into the market. And then we can get out of this arbitrage and more into a marketplace which drives more trust and more I'm going to say that one again. And then we can get out of that marketplace of like where it's all about arbitrage and who can get the cheapest CPM into a world of where we can compute value and we can invest in higher quality experiences, which kick off that positive feedback loop.
Yeah, I think for me, complementing that is actually evolving the MMM models, because I think while we have to embed that in the planning, is also making sure, and it's not going to be an easy task, right? How do we evolve the measurement models that equate from volume to value? I think that's so how do we create that future state? And it is going to come, because if this becomes the ubiquitous filter and optimization layer, the models have to evolve with the times. So I think that's, in my mind, the next thing, in addition to planning, is the measurement frameworks that we have to bring up to attention as well.
That's totally right. If it works, the market is going to sort of push adoption out and will just happen organically.
Yeah.
Well, this has been really great. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Sargi. I'm Marc Guldimann, co-founder and CEO of Adelaide, joining you from the GroupM Rooftop in Cannes.